Hey my fellow Omi homies, it's Foster and I'm back at it again with another Vivi and Akomi video. Just to start today's video, because I always joke in every video that I'm not a YouTuber and a couple people have jokingly called me out on it, I did just want to say thank you to all the support that I've received on my channel since I started posting videos. It's been an interesting journey to say the least. It's not something that I ever thought that I would partake on. I was happy kind of sitting on the sidelines and listening to everyone else's content. But ever since I started posting videos 2 weeks ago, I have received a lot of support from people in the community, a lot of people reaching out to me, both content creators and just members of the public who have enjoyed the content that I've been putting out. So I just want to say thank you guys, because it really has kind of motivated me to start doing a little bit more research and discussing more topics that I find interesting and I think may bring value to the community. A part of that, I just noticed because I checked, have 99 subscribers. So, I guess if one more person wants to subscribe, then I could hit triple digits, which I guess is kind of cool. Never started this out to kind of gain that type of notoriety, but hey, I guess it's a perk, and I suppose the more people that subscribe, I'm not even sure how the algorithms work, but I guess more people you have subscribed, the more people that like and comment and stuff, which is what all the YouTubers say. I guess it gets your video out more, so hey, if you guys want to do that, and if not, no hard feelings. In today's video, I just wanted to discuss a topic that I've seen circling in the community quite a bit lately. Obviously, we've seen quite a few price prediction videos go out. We've seen technical analysis. We've seen people speculating because of licenses. At the end of the day, it's something that we're never really going to truly know. But something that I've seen that's come up somewhat of a misconception that I kind of wanted to touch on today and kind of actually run the numbers and show why it's important is the concept of market cap and why the amount that we currently have in the project and related to some of the biggest companies in the world, their size of market caps, what a possible realistic price range may look like for the token in specific increments of time as people start to invest in the token and we get more interest and we get more holders. So I saw this tweet go out the other day from Omi Data. Great reference if you guys want to follow him on Twitter. Puts out great information about the daily burn statistics, the number of holders we're receiving, and things of that nature. And he posts the year's 2025, the price of Omi is. Of course, no one really knows for sure, but I read through some of the comments. Obviously, some people are saying $10 plus. Some people are saying $100, $3 to $5. NFT tendies, same price we are right now. And a bunch of people have their opinions, which is perfectly fine. And like I said, I just wanted to throw my hat into the ring and give you guys some actual kind of numbers and reasons why I think we might be at certain increments. So with that being said, I just wanted to quickly go over the concept of a market cap. Just because I think that sometimes people kind of overlook and don't realize the importance of a market cap. So as an example, this is the largest companies by market cap in the world right now. So out of every publicly traded company in the world, this is the market cap. Market cap essentially being the price of a specific share or a cryptocurrency, a token, divided by the total amount that is put into the project currently. So it's market valuation. So they have X amount of shares that are currently being held, in our case, tokens, and the price is the market cap, so the total number or value that is valued for that project, divided by the amount of tokens that are, or stocks that are available. So as an example, Apple, as the best, I guess, most expensive company in the world, currently has a market cap of $2.4 trillion. We can go through the list here. Obviously, some other popular ones: Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, all tech companies. You love to see that, given that we're in NFTs and the craze that we're going through right now. But it's worth noting, after we hit past 6 in the world, there's no companies that have over a $1 trillion valuation. Why that's important is if we look at the cryptocurrency market right now as a whole, and we see all the cryptos that are listed. Obviously, right now, it's sorted by market cap. Bitcoin, as we know, biggest market cap right now in the cryptocurrency space at about $886 billion. If we look here at the top of the screen, we can see that we're a shade over $2 trillion of total market cap, which basically means that out of the 8,880 coins that are currently listed on CoinGecko, there's approximately $2.1 trillion worth of investment in the cryptocurrency space right now. Obviously, Bitcoin holding, a vast majority of that. And then we have Ethereum, which is less than half of Bitcoin, but has started to catch up. And then you'll see a very stark difference between the rest of the coins here. Even in the top 10, you can see that, the 10th coin only cracks about $15 billion in market cap currently, that being Uniswap. There's a couple coins that we're going to touch on in today's video that are on this list, and I kind of want to emphasize when we look at these prices why they are the prices that they are, so that people can really understand that when we're talking about a price prediction for the Omi token, it's great to say in theory, it's going to hit $10, it's going to hit $50, but there are limitations to that. And I want to start this off by saying this video is not going to be FUD. I very much believe in the Omi token. I'm an Omi token holder myself. I have 14 million Omi tokens. I'm heavily invested in the VV project, but I also want people to understand the nuances to how the investing works, because I'm seeing people put out these price predictions, and my bigger concern is that it is so unrealistic that it's actually going to cause people to become discouraged because they won't see these gains that they're being told that they're likely to see, or at least in a time frame that, any one of us would want to see. I'm talking like 3 to 5 years, and, for some of these price predictions, we could be talking, the project would have to be around for 50 or 60 years based on the circulating supply. So as we go through this, I'll explain it. Obviously, if you guys aren't sure about anything, you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I do love to interact with members of the community. If you guys have any questions, if you don't agree with me, that's perfectly fine as well. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know why you feel that way, and then we can start a conversation and get as many people educated that way, okay? So first coin I want to look at, obviously a big coin in the crypto space. A lot of people reference it when they say, hey, Doge did this, so Omi can do this. We all know the parabolic rise that Dogecoin hit earlier this year, going all the way up on May 7th to 68 cents. Absolutely crazy. I mean, $31 billion worth of volume on that day alone is just absolutely absurd. So, we've seen, obviously, Doge here has done quite good. Right now, it's sitting at a market cap of about $44 billion. And as a reference to the Omi token, we're currently sitting at 576 million. So, we're about 50 or I guess 80x lower than that right now. So there's quite a bit more money right now in Doge right now. So we're also seeing a trading volume of, $6 billion and things of that nature. So obviously quite a bit more than what we're seeing in the Omi token right now, and obviously quite a few more holders. So why are all these things important? We see a price right now of 34 cents for Dogecoin, and people say, Doge has absolutely no utility. I'm not here to debate that. Everyone has their own merits and their beliefs in their coins, and you're entitled to have them. But it's just important to understand. Doge has 34 cents right now as its value. So if you want to purchase one Dogecoin, it's 34 cents, right? So why is the Omi token, which will soon have value, 150x cheaper than that? Like, why is that the case? That doesn't make any sense, right? The reason for that is the circulating supply. And that's another major factor when we're calculating the price of a token. It's the circulating supply and the market cap that's going to tell you the token value. So we see a circulating supply of 130 billion tokens for Dogecoin. We know Omi right now has about 216 billion, and we know it'll have a max supply of just a tad over 300 billion. So Doge has, at its peak, will have about 40% of the total circulation of what Omi will have at its peak. But because it has so much more significant value invested in it currently, that is how it's able to get to this price right now. So I've created a calculator that we're going to reference a few times throughout this video. And I created it. It's very straightforward. It's rudimentary, but it's to show and illustrate why, the Omi token, which we all believe in and has value, isn't at some of these valuations right now. So as an example, we said that Dogecoin has, I think we just copy and paste this here, 130 billion tokens right now circulating supply. And we said it's worth 34 cents. So right now that gives it a market cap of 44.495 billion. If we go back here, we can see 44.37. So the calculator is very close to being accurate, as you can see. Obviously, we didn't enter in all of the decimal points, which is where you're seeing that difference. But it's a very simple calculation. It's just circulating supply, market cap, and price. Those three factors together will tell you. So we know in this instance, Doge has less circulating supply than the Omi token, and it has a market cap far greater than what the Omi token has right now. So there are far more people invested in this token right now, and that is why we're seeing that price, okay? Now, as an example, let's enter in the Omi token, and that's 300 million. Let's do some math here. There we go, 300 billion. For a 34-cent price, so for Omi to have the same value per token as Dogecoin, we would need to see a $102 billion market cap to hit 34 cents with 300 million circulating supply. So why is this important? Why is this market cap number important? You know, we want to see the price rise. It's not rising as quickly as we want it to. Why is this happening? And eventually, what will the company and the VV app be able to do to facilitate us seeing those rises in price? So once again, $102 billion in market cap. If we go back and look here, that would put the Omi token firmly into third place out of every cryptocurrency that exists right now. We'd be, you know, over $30 billion clear of Cardano, which has had quite a significant pump recently. We've seen 48% in the last 7 days, and obviously nowhere near Ethereum, but that's okay. So that's just right now. If we were to take today's values, that is what we would be at. That's an important number to remember, okay? So once again, this is just specifically for Dogecoin to understand, you know, it went up, it pumped. Another example, market cap back on May 7th was 88, we'll call it $89 billion just for argument's sake. So $89 billion, if we go back to our spreadsheet here, we know it was roughly 72 cents that Dogecoin hit at its peak. With Omi's circulating supply of 300 billion, for us to hit that same 72 cent mark that Doge hit back in May, we would need a $216 billion market cap currently based on circulating supply. That is significantly higher than the, you know, 80-ish billion that Dogecoin hit. So understand that when we're talking about value of tokens, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Like, we can look at it and, you know, many people may have an argument and say, well, tokens with utility should be worth more than tokens without utility. But social sentiment, especially in the crypto space, carries a lot of weight. You know, people like Elon Musk and a lot of, you know, bigwigs were backing Dogecoin. There was a lot of social sentiment and hype towards Doge. So a lot of people FOMO'd in and invested in it. Right now, we don't necessarily have that in the Omi community because whether it's a blessing or a curse, the vast majority of the community is being educated by a lot of great YouTubers that we have in the community. And a lot of people understand the catalysts that will eventually pump the Omi token. And because none of those catalysts currently exist and are not around, there's no reason to invest in the project. We're in the middle of a bull cycle. There's tons of coins that have hype associated with them and, you know, can give you very large gains in a very short period of time. So people would rather put their money in that right now than put in money to what I would almost classify as a stable coin, because Omi will have utility and has IP and a great company with great founders backing it. They'd rather wait until this bull cycle is over or until it is shown and proven that Omi has enough utility that the masses are able to access it via exchanges. There's enough liquidity in it to make sure that we can continue to purchase it and have the value increase, and then make sure we have mechanisms in place, such as the Master Collector program, that incentivize people to hold their token and not just dump it because the price goes up in value. Axie Infinity. Probably one of the better tokens to reference when we're referencing the NFT space. As we know, Axie has absolutely taken over the NFT space recently. Probably the biggest crypto project or NFT project in the crypto market right now. They're worth $70. Now, people look at this, and because they look at Axie Infinity and they say, well, it's worth $70, Omi can also be worth $70. But once again, it only has a market cap of $3.8 billion. So it's only 8x what Omi's market cap is right now. So its market cap, it's not like it has, 40 billion. It doesn't have Doge money in it. It only has, less than 4 billion. It has less than 10% of what's invested into Doge. So why is it worth $70? Doge is only worth 34 cents and Omi isn't even worth 1 cent. The circulating supply. Currently, the circulating supply of Axie is only 57 million tokens. 57 million tokens. You would need to times that by 6,000 in order to get roughly what the full circulating supply of the Omi token will be at its peak. So, by that same metric, we would need to have 6,000 times the market cap in order to hit the same number. In order for us to hit $70, we would need, like, we're talking tens of trillions of dollars, like bigger than all of the companies, all of the biggest Fortune 500 companies, all of the crypto market, 10 times over in order to hit a $70 valuation for the Omi token based on the current circulating supply. I'm going to emphasize that a couple more times because that's also important to understand, because as a reminder, or for those of you that do not know, Omi is a deflationary currency. What that means is that as it is rolled out with its utility, a percentage of the tokens that are utilized are then burned and taken out of the circulating supply. So if we look right now, we can actually see that the burn balance is over 10 billion tokens. So 10 billion tokens have been taken out of the circulating supply forever. These will never come back. It's also worth noting the reserve wallet, which has almost 288 billion tokens, will never enter the circulating supply. Neither will the vault wallet balance. So right now, how it works, just a very quick overview, people purchase collectibles. A percentage of those collectibles that were purchased in USD are converted into the Omi token and are then burned from circulation. So right now, how it currently works is that Omi does a buyback from the reserve wallet and they move that reserve wallet into the vault wallet. So right now, the reason that we're not seeing the price go up with the buybacks that are occurring is they're coming from one out of circulation wallet and they're moving into another out of circulation wallet. There are possibilities that with the move to immutable, there had been previous propositions made to the company to eliminate almost the entire reserve wallet balance and reduce it to like 1 to 1.5% of its current value. So it would have, 20 or 30 billion tokens, 2 to 3 billion tokens rather than 287 billion tokens, which in turn would then start to see those buybacks coming directly out of the circulating supply. And every single time a buyback comes out of the circulating supply, it decreases the value of the token, decreases the number of tokens, which will then in turn hypothetically increase the value of the token, assuming the same amount of money is still invested in the space. So, went off on a little tangent there. Back to Axie. They only have 57 million circulating supply. Because they only have 57 million circulating supply, that's how they're able to hit these types of numbers. Same example, Bitcoin. Bitcoin only has, I think it's 18 million. Yeah, 18.7 million. And because they have $882 billion worth of volume in the currency, that's how you're able to see a crazy number. So now, hypothetically, if $882 billion worth of volume was invested into Axie, Axie could conceivably be worth a third of Bitcoin's value per coin because there's about a third of the circulating supply. So it would be worth 15,000 per coin. Will we see that with Axie? Who knows? But that's just an example, right? You look at the price of the token and you think, well, this token's worth a lot of money. It must be more valuable than a token that's worth less money. My token should be worth more. Why isn't it going up? These are the reasons behind it. It's not that it's not a good project, and it's not because it doesn't have a lot going for it. It's just the circulating supply right now is so large that there's no incentive to have the token increase in value without the utility. Once we get the utility, and we'll get into that, we'll start to see some more. So once again, Omi right now, 0.2 of a penny. Circulating supply, 216 billion. We know the total will be just a tad over 300 billion. And we only have a market cap of 576 million. Like, we're not even, I think at our peak, I think we hit 1.2 billion, if I remember correctly. The webpage, oh no, it was 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion back in March. So back when we saw that hype, when the Uniswap listing hit, the first Batman Black and White, Andre Jick, Logan Paul, everyone, putting out the coin, we were seeing these types of things. We had $131 million worth of volume that day. Right now, we're getting $3 million worth of volume. Like, we're getting like 2% of the volume that we will likely see when this utility rolls out. So guys, there's a lot of things that I'm very excited about with the Omi token. I'm very bullish on it. And once again, the intention of this video is not to, talk badly about the token or talk badly about some of these price predictions. It's just to give you a realistic perspective of what we would need to see happen in order to hit some of these numbers, just based on math, not based on opinion. Hey, I think this will roll out. Hey, I don't think this will roll out. It's just, hey, if we had this much circulating supply and we had this much invested, this is how much the token would be worth. And then you guys decide, how much money you think will be in the space at the time and things of that nature. I released this a couple videos ago. I'm not going to go over it again. I'll link it in the description. This was just a model that was proposed relating to token utility in the Master Collector program. At the time when I made the video, and I do acknowledge, as a couple YouTubers have pointed out, there are some concerns with this model as it does not reference additional features of a Master Collector program. It doesn't have, incentives for collecting. It doesn't make sure that you have to own a specific amount of collectibles or that you have a certain amount of engagement. It simply just lets you buy your way to the top of the Master Collector program. My intention when releasing this video was not to say that this was the best model and the model that Omi needed to roll out. It was simply to just give some perspective and insight into, hypothetically, if a model like this was to roll out and, let's say other features were added, it would just show you, how much Omi could conceivably be burnt, or the buy pressure that could be put on the token by having a model like this. I thought it was very bullish. I do recommend you guys going to look back at it whenever you guys get a chance. That being said, this very hardcore market cap calculator that I made, I'm telling you, I'm surprised NASA hasn't sent me a job offer here, but pretty straightforward. So like we said, we already know 300 billion. We did the price calculation. We know what we need to hit. So let's play around with some numbers right now. We'll spend a minute or two just playing around with some numbers. We'll throw out some hypotheticals. And then if you have some numbers that you want to see run, you let me know in the comments down below, or I can make another video and we can have a discussion about it, and we can go from there. So right now we know, a lot of zeros, 216 billion tokens is the current circulating supply. For us to hit 72 cents, which was the all-time high for Doge, we would need to have a $155 billion market cap. $155 billion market cap is like over, 1,000x of where we're at right now. So is it impossible that Omi can hit $155 billion market cap? No, I think over time it's definitely possible. I think as the crypto market as a whole grows and as the prevalence of crypto in mainstream society continues to grow, I think right now a lot of economists and speculators are saying we're looking at about a $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. I think the market standard for gold right now is about 10 trillion, and people are saying they do anticipate by 2030 Bitcoin having a $10 trillion market cap and becoming the new gold standard, shall we say, a store of value. Rather than using actual gold, we will use Bitcoin. So, if we were to make a linear argument saying that Bitcoin will 10x in market cap value in the next 10 years, I think you could easily make the argument at a bare minimum that Omi could 10x, and I would say 10x from their all-time high back in March. So, 20 billion as a market cap. Now, if we were to see 20 billion as a market cap with a 216 million circulating supply, we're probably looking at something like, and that's what happens when you have numbers formatted that way, probably be looking at somewhere around 12 cents. It's definitely doable. I definitely think hitting a $25 billion market cap is doable. I could see, with all the mainstream awareness that is going to be coming into the space, all of the promotion from the IP and from various content creators and, social media personalities, I do see this app getting mainstream adoption. And I do think, 25 billion as a market cap is not out of the question. We come back and look right now and we could see $25 billion in market cap would put us somewhere in between, roughly where Polkadot is right now. So we know Cardano was very speculated for a long time. They actually just released on Friday the date that their first smart contracts are going to be rolling out. And they've obviously increased quite substantially since then. But I mean, even when it was sitting around $40 billion, this was pure speculation. People just invested in this because they believed in the cause and they understood what was going to happen. That's what we're doing right now. We have no utility for the token, but we understand what could happen with this. So we can play around with some numbers. You guys need to decide what's the market cap that you think is reasonable for you. So we'll take as an example NBA Top Shots, which was about $9 or $10 at its peak. We'd be at 5 cents with the current circulating supply. One of the arguments that I know people are going to make in this video, and they're going to say, well, Omi's a deflationary currency. You know, we're burning $1 billion or 1 billion tokens in a drop. Like, of course, we're going to run out of the circulating supply in no time. The reason that I hesitate to speculate on where the circulating supply is going to go is because we have no way of modeling the burn, because we don't know what is going to be implemented in order to assist in that. We know Komi has a ton of plans, and I'm sure they have a bunch of experts looking at it. They know what they have rolling out, and I'm sure they're able to model and predict these things, but this isn't something that's public knowledge at this point. So for me to speculate and say, oh, you know, I think Omi's going to have a 10 billion circulating supply in 2 years. If we were burning 1 billion tokens every week, it would take us 6 years to burn the entire circulating supply. It sounds feasible when I say that. Well, yeah, of course, we're already burning 1 billion tokens a week. If we go up to 4 drops a week, we have the VV-verse rolling out. Like, of course, we're going to burn 1 billion tokens a week. We could burn 10 billion tokens a week. That's at 0.003 cents. What people need to remember, similarly to the market cap and how the price is affected by the amount of money that's in a space, conversely, what happens with the Omi token is the higher the value of the Omi token, the less that it's burnt. So for all the people that are upset right now that, you know, your token isn't worth that much, remember that at 0.003 cents, a 1 billion Omi token burn becomes a 100 million token burn at 3 cents. So you 10x the value of your investment, but you've also now 10x'd the reduction in rate of the burn. And these are the things that are important to remember. I'm sure I could find a way to model it if I had enough time, and if people are curious about it, I could maybe crack at it. But remember that if we went up to 30 cents, that's a 100x reduction in burn. We're now, instead of a billion tokens burned per drop, we're looking at 10 million tokens burned per drop. So even if we're burning 10 million tokens a day at 30 cents, that's still only 70 million tokens a week and 520 million tokens a year. Or sorry, 365 million tokens a year. It's been a long week. So it's not that much. Like, so just remember that. Like, right now, we should be grateful that the price is what it is, because if we're just purely relying on drops and no other utility to burn the token, it's easy to say at the current price that, hey, you know, 4 or 5 years, the token will have, you know, a 10 billion circulating supply because, you know, it's burnt. And, you know, if we were to get $1, you know, we only need a $10 billion market cap. Well, that's easy. We can get a $10 billion market cap. Like, Axie has more than that. Like, we can do that, no problem. But remember, it's not as easy to just say, hey, let's burn 1 billion tokens a week and in, you know, 4 or 5 years be down at 10 billion circulating supply. The drops alone are not going to get us there, which is why this is just a pure example of a model of a percentage of users staking Omi and the value that that can contribute to either burning the token or removing it from the circulating supply because it's being staked as a form of utility will be the thing that we will see to ensure that our circulating supply decreases and that we don't have to solely rely on our market cap to increase in order to increase the value of the token. The best part about a deflationary currency and things to remember is that if you have a stable circulating supply and a market cap that increases, then you gain value. What happens when you have a circulating supply that is decreasing and a market cap that's increasing is you're growing exponentially quicker. So the tokenomics of this model are absolutely fantastic because having the staking, having the burning, having so many forms of utility that will be rolled out, things that we can't even fathom or imagine yet, will allow us to get to pretty crazy numbers, I would imagine, at some point, hopefully. But just as a like, if we were to burn 2/3 of the circulating supply that's remaining in effect, we go down to 100 billion circulating supply in tokens. If we want to hit $1, we have to hit $100 billion market cap. Just remember that makes us clear into third as the most valuable cryptocurrency in the space right now. Now, remember, I fully believe that this can happen, and it's in my best interest that it does. because with 14 million tokens, if it hits $1, like I'm retiring, my wife's retiring, my kids are never working, we're vacations 24/7. Like, trust me, guys, like I want to see this happen. But at the same time, I just want to make sure that people understand that, it sounds great to say, hey, we can get to $10, no problem. But we're not hitting a $1 trillion market cap, no problem. That is not happening, right? We're not hitting Bitcoin's bigger than Bitcoin's valuation and half of the entire cryptocurrency space and being worth the same amount as Facebook overnight just because we want it to happen. It just doesn't work that way. So what we're going to see over the next coming weeks and months is several mechanisms, in my opinion, that are rolled out by Omi. There'll be iterative processes, whether it be the Master Collector program, the VVverse with additional incentives, whether it be to advertise as a form of burning Omi or, paying Omi to enter challenges or things of that nature. They'll add multiple ways for Omi to be used. Omi direct to NFT. These things are coming and they will all reduce the circulating supply. I just want people to have a realistic expectation of where we're looking in the next couple of years. And you may have a different opinion as to where these burns happen. But once again, based on the model that I looked at and I believe could happen, if we could get 10% of the current user base to buy into the Master Collector program, assuming that the tokenomic side of it is rolled out similarly and not obviously minus the rewards and things that people will receive, we could see a large percentage of the tokens locked up. I think that with staking and different burn and utilization mechanisms, I'll use Cardano as the perfect example. Approximately 70% of Cardano circulating supply is staked or locked in some form of liquidity. Therefore, it is out of the circulating supply, which is helping the price of the token increase. So if we took 70% of the circulating supply at 300 billion and removed it, I would say 100 billion as a circulating supply with the short-term measures. We can see this in 6 to 12 months. If we have enough people join the Master Collector program and they introduce enough measures to stake Omi or burn Omi, I think 100 billion is not out of the question. But remember, we're not necessarily going to see a $100 billion market cap. Both of these things need to happen in order for us to see the numbers that we're looking for. So if you're, and it's all up to what your goals are, right, guys? If you're looking for 10 cents at a $100 billion circulating supply, that's a $10 billion market cap. I think in 6 months, we will be at a $10 billion market cap. If they roll out the Master Collector program in the VVverse, I think $10 billion is, in my opinion, not financial advice, almost guaranteed. I have no doubt about that at all. But what is the circulating supply going to be? Because $10 billion market cap is manageable. But once again, if the circulating supply is 200 billion, my thing's failing me. It's 5 cents. So it's easy to say we will see X price because I believe in it. But just remember, you have to run the numbers. You have to look at it from a logical perspective and say, where's the market currently? Where are people invested? They're invested in a lot of meme coins and a lot of hype coins that as the bull run starts to run its course, people will be pulling their money out of that and reinvesting it into blue chip or tokens that have utility. Around that same time, the Omi token is going to be rolling out its Master Collector program. It's going to have rewards and incentives. It's going to be on more exchanges because of Immutable, marketing campaigns, larger IP, the NFLPA, and who else knows? So we could easily see a market cap. Like if you want to say, full send, I believe the market cap of Omi in December will be $80 billion, which is where Doge was at its peak. We're looking at 40 cents with a $200 billion 200 billion token circulating supply. We'd have an $80 billion market cap. So are these types of numbers possible if the rest of the crypto market aligns? I do believe that they are. But we don't know where the market cap is going to be until we see what the project offers and appeals to people in the space. And once we start to see those things, we can start to hopefully more accurately predict these things. But just remember, guys, when you're coming up with these predictions and numbers, I know it's fun to put out, $10, $50, $100. We'd all love to see it. I would love to see it. I don't even know how many islands I could buy with a $100 Omi token. But at the same time, in the best interest of educating the vast majority of the community, I think it is important to understand these fundamentals and just understand that when we're looking at the circulating supply of Omi, don't get discouraged. We know it's deflating, but when you look at other projects like Axie, when you look at other projects like Doge, it's not that their projects are better or worse just because their price is higher than ours. It's just they have different circulating supply than us, and that is why their token is worth so much less. Same thing as an example as a token like SafeMoon or Shiba that has, trillions and trillions of tokens. That's why it's 5 decimal places 0, right? Is it may have a larger market cap than Omi, meaning more people are invested in it, but because the circulating supply is so large, it will never hit. Shiba will never hit $1. People say it will hit $1. It is like everyone in the world would have to be like a billionaire for Shiba to hit $1. And everyone would have to be invested in it. It's just impossible. And people believe that based on social sentiment that something will do something. But that's why it's important to just run the numbers so you understand them for yourselves. I know this one was a little bit of a longer one again, guys. I apologize. I didn't mean to drag it out. I did actually want to reference this a little bit more just so that we can understand, staking and burning mechanisms, just as an example, just to give you an idea of how the circulating supply could decrease and how we could see these prices jump up. And then obviously touch on some of the factors that may increase the market cap. I'll leave all that up to your imagination. Worst case, I will make a part 2. I am curious to hear what everyone has to say about it in the comments below. If you have any thoughts, you agree, you disagree, open up the conversation. I'd love to have it with all you guys. Once again, as always, enjoy the investment, enjoy the rot. I love you guys. Peace.